You must be wondering how we ended up here. Hey, you! Yeah, I'm talking to you! Alright, now that I have your attention, let me go back to the beginning. Once upon a time, there was a collection of human-ruled countries north of the Amel Mountains known as the Northern Kingdoms. They were ruled by greedy thugs who hated their people, and the people hated all elves, dwarves, and halflings, and everyone hated the ghosts and monstrosities that prowled the lands. Oh yeah, and then there was the Empire of Nilfgaard, which was basically out to dominate the world.
The Witcher, a world of monsters, magic, and moral ambiguity. A tale born from Andrzej Sapkowski's novels, but transformed into a global phenomenon by CD Projekt Red's iconic game trilogy. But how much of the story we love in the games is true to the books? Are the games a faithful continuation of Sapkowski's vision, or do they take creative liberties too far? And what about Andrzej Sapkowski himself? Does he embrace the games as an extension of his legacy, or despise them as a bastardization of his work? What are the most striking differences between the Witcher trilogy and the books? Why does Ciri's destiny shift so drastically? And what about the characters, Triss, Yennefer, even the Wild Hunt? Let's attempt to answer all these questions and dive into the fascinating differences between the books and the games in this video. Andrzej Sapkowski, the Polish author behind the Witcher series, is a fascinating figure. A bit of a curmudgeon, fiercely intelligent, and not shy about sharing his opinions. He's famously outspoken about the games based on his books, and while hate might be too strong a word, his relationship with CD Projekt Red's adaptations has certainly been complicated. Let me tell you all about it. Sapkowski published his first Witcher short story in 1986, and by the 1990s, he'd built a devoted following in Poland. But it wasn't until the release of CD Projekt Red's The Witcher games, starting in 2007, that the series reached a global audience. Here's where things get messy. Sapkowski sold the rights to the Witcher universe to CD Projekt Red for a flat fee. At the time, he didn't believe the games would amount to much, famously saying, "I was stupid enough to sell them rights to the whole bunch. They offered me a percentage of their profits. I said, no, there will be no profit at all. Give me all my money right now, the whole amount." It was stupid. That stupid decision cost him dearly. The games became a massive success, propelling The Witcher into the international spotlight. Meanwhile, Sapkowski earned nothing beyond his original flat payment, which reportedly amounted to just $9,000 US. So, what Sapkowski thinks of the games? Sapkowski has always maintained that the games are not canon. To him, the games are a free adaptation that exist in a parallel universe. He's made it clear he views them as entirely separate from his books. In his words, the game is not an alternative version, nor a sequel. The game is a free adaptation containing elements of my work, an adaptation created by different authors. While he's acknowledged that the games brought his books to a wider audience, he's never been particularly warm toward them. At times, he's even been outright dismissive, and I quote, "I cannot say that the games helped me because my books have been selling for over 20 years. They have been bestsellers from the beginning, not because of the games." To be fair, his skepticism of video games as a medium likely influenced his views. In one interview, he admitted, "I am too old to play computer games. I never played any computer games, be it inspired by my work or otherwise." End quote. This lack of engagement with the games led to criticism that he didn't fully understand or appreciate what CD Projekt Red had accomplished with his world. For fans, it felt like he dismissed something that many saw as a faithful homage to his work. Here is where things get spicy. The legal battle. Things came to a head in 2018 when Sapkowski demanded additional compensation from CD Projekt Red, $16 million to be exact. He argued that the game's success went far beyond what anyone had anticipated, and he deserved a share of the profits. While the developers had no legal obligation to pay him more, thanks to that initial flat fee agreement, the dispute was settled amicably, with CD Projekt Red agreeing to an undisclosed amount. Despite the conflict, the developers never publicly criticized Sapkowski. In fact, they've always been respectful, with CD Projekt Red co-founder Marcin Iwinski calling him an absolute genius and expressing gratitude for the opportunity to adapt his work. mark. Now to the big question. Does he really hate the games? It's a bit more nuanced than outright hatred. Sapkowski has admitted the game's popularity boosted interest in his books internationally, even if he's reluctant to credit them entirely. In a 2017 interview, he said, "I believe that games, to some extent, may have helped my popularity, although it was not my way of reaching the reader. My books are being sold everywhere now, but I would like to stress one thing. I don't care." Sapkowski's tone might seem bitter, but it's more about control. He's protective of his creation, and the fact that the games added their own twists, like expanding Geralt's relationships or reimagining the Wild Hunt, may have rankled him. After all, he sees The Witcher as his literary legacy, and having others interpret his characters and world was never something he intended. In recent years, Sapkowski's stance seems to have softened slightly, possibly due to the success of the Witcher Netflix series. He worked as a consultant for the show, which arguably brought his books even more attention than the games. During press interviews for the show, he said of CD Projekt Red, "They made a great job. The game is very well done." It's not exactly glowing praise, but it's a far cry from the dismissiveness he once expressed. Perhaps time and royalties have mellowed his perspective. What's the takeaway? Sapkowski didn't hate the games so much as he felt disconnected from them. He didn't play them, he didn't profit from them as much as he wanted, and he didn't see them as part of his canon. His frustration is understandable. He created a world he deeply cares about, and watching others take it in new directions may not have been easy. That said, his sharp words and legal battles have made his relationship with fans and CD Projekt Red complicated. But love them or not, the games undeniably elevated The Witcher to a global phenomenon, giving Sapkowski's work the recognition it deserved, even if it wasn't on his terms. Now, Sapkowski's name is known worldwide, and his books are bestsellers in dozens of languages. Would that have happened without the games? Maybe not. But whether he admits it or not, CD Projekt Red helped turn his beloved stories into a legacy that will endure for years to come. Now let's explore together how Witcher games are different from the books. At the conclusion of the books, Lady of the Lake, the fate of Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri is left intentionally vague. Geralt and Yennefer, they are gravely injured during a riot in Rivia. Ciri, using her Elder Blood powers, transports their bodies to another realm, possibly Avalon, a mystical island. It's unclear whether they live or die. Ciri, she departs to explore other worlds, eventually arriving in modern-day England briefly, before deciding to chart her own path. She effectively disappears from the continent's affairs. Sapkowski leaves much of the story open-ended, with no clear resolution about what happens to the main characters. The Witcher trilogy assumes Geralt was revived after the events in the books and picks up his story from there. Here's how the trilogy connects to the books. The Witcher 1, 2007, Geralt's Return. The game begins with Geralt suffering from amnesia, found near Kaer Morhen. This allows the developers to avoid explicitly explaining how he survived the riot in Rivia, leaving it as a mystery. Many characters and factions from the books, like Triss, Dandelion, and the Salamandra, appear, but the plot is original. The game focuses on Geralt rebuilding his life and reclaiming his memories. The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings, 2011, Politics and War. The game delves deeper into the political turmoil of the continent, with Geralt caught in a web of intrigue involving kings, assassins, and the Nilfgaardian Empire. Connection to the books. Characters like Letho of Gulet, another Witcher, are introduced, and political figures like Foltest and Radovid take center stage. The Lodge of Sorceresses, a key element in the books, also plays a significant role. The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, 2015, Ciri's Return. The game ties most directly to the books by bringing Ciri back into the spotlight. It explores her destiny as the child of the Elder Blood and her ability to travel between worlds. The Wild Hunt. While present in the books as a spectral force, the Wild Hunt is reimagined as a central antagonist chasing Ciri. The game assumes Geralt has been actively searching for Ciri after regaining his memory. The trilogy expands on the book's world, creating new characters, factions, and plot lines while staying true to the tone and themes of Sapkowski's writing. Key additions include the Wild Hunt as major antagonists. In the books, the Wild Hunt is more of a supernatural event. In the games, they become corporeal elven warriors from another world, hunting Ciri for her Elder Blood. Geralt's relationships. The games explore his relationships with Triss, Yennefer, and other characters in more depth, giving players choices that impact these dynamics. Witcher lore. The games delve into the culture of Witchers, including schools like the School of the Viper, Letho, and the School of the Cat, which are barely mentioned in the books. While the games draw heavily from the books, there are notable differences. Geralt and Triss relationship. In the books, their relationship is brief and one-sided. The games make Triss a central romantic option, Wolven, creating a love triangle with Yennefer. Ciri's role. The books imply Ciri rejects her elder blood destiny and chooses to explore other worlds, leaving the continent behind. The games bring her back, with her powers and heritage driving the story. Geralt's neutrality. The books emphasize Geralt's desire to remain neutral, while the games often force him into political or world-changing decisions. In conclusion, the Witcher trilogy is best understood as an imaginative sequel to Sapkowski's books. It builds on the novel's world and characters while telling its own story. By setting the games after the books, CD Projekt Red creates a rich, immersive experience that respects the source material without being constrained by it. Fans of the books can enjoy the games as a what-if scenario.
Greetings, Geralt. Remember me? We met in White Orchard. I helped you find Yennefer. It seems you need my help again.
Geralt is a philosopher in the guise of a monster hunter. Beneath his stoic exterior lies a man wrestling with morality in a brutal world. Neutrality is his creed, an often difficult stance as he avoids political entanglements and lets fate decide outcomes. At his core, Geralt's love for Yennefer and his fatherly bond with Ciri are the threads tying him to humanity. The games echo this complexity. In The Witcher 3, Geralt's sharp wit, dry humor, and reluctance to meddle in politics feel authentically book-like. His stormy relationship with Yennefer, highlighted in quests like The Last Wish, stays true to Sapkowski's portrayal, offering players a chance to witness their profound connection. But the game also tests his neutrality. In quests like Reason of State, Geralt must choose sides in a political coup, putting the player in control of decisions he might avoid in the books. Here lies the key divergence. The books present Geralt as a fixed character, while the games let the player mold his personality. This flexibility creates a unique, interactive experience, but steps away from the rigid neutrality Geralt clings to in Sapkowski's world. Ciri and the Elder Blood, a destiny's burden. Ciri is the heart of both the books and the games, a child of prophecy bearing the Elder Blood's immense power. In the books, her journey is one of self-discovery, balancing destiny and personal choice. Her ability to traverse dimensions and the pursuit by the enigmatic NL, elves from another world, form the backbone of her narrative. Despite her predestined power, Ciri's rejection of fate defines her character. The Witcher 3 amplifies Ciri's role, making her Elder Blood powers pivotal. Her dimension-hopping abilities drive the story, as does her relentless pursuit by the NL, now reimagined as the corporeal Wild Hunt. Quests like the Battle of Kaer Morhen portray her as a fighter, capable of shaping her destiny, much like in the books. However, the game transforms the Wild Hunt from spectral wraiths into tangible antagonists, giving them a detailed backstory as elven warriors led by Eredin. While this change builds a more immediate and dramatic threat, it shifts away from the book's ambiguity, where the hunt remains a spectral enigma.
And of course, there are voices that are, having doubts. They like Geralt. We like Geralt as well, right? That's why actually he will be in the game. So I think it's really positive, which.
But also there is some common denominators between Geralt and Ciri, right? Obviously, they are completely different characters because she's younger, he's older, he's foster father, foster daughter. But in the end of the day, both of them are Witchers. In this case, it's a new Witcher on the path. Actually, it's the very first Witcher by choice. She wants to do it, right? And you will be able to experience what it means to become the Witcher. This is great, but what's in the center of this profession, because they are professionals, right, in this world, killing monsters, is exactly this: helping people for coin, traveling the world and defeating monsters in this brutal, sometimes dark, grim world.
Most of them I see the potential we see, but it's she's as a new protagonist with all the skill set and the way she cares, but at the same she's a badass. I think this is so much freedom for us as a creatives, and then it will be a freedom for players to experience with her becoming the Witcher that she wants to be. So I think that will be amazing, and I think that most of you people already see it, and for the rest, well, the game will.
The trailer confirmed what many fans had suspected after the ending of Wild Hunt. Cirilla will take center stage as the protagonist of the new saga instead of Geralt. In an interview with IGN, CD Projekt Red developers discussed this choice. Cian Maher franchise and lore designer explained, "The Witcher as a title refers to both Geralt and Ciri and always has. I think she's arguably more important to the plot than Geralt himself." While the team did not reveal much about Geralt's role, it seems likely he will appear in some capacity in the next chapter. Game director Sebastian Kalemba shared insights on Ciri's relatively new role as a professional Witcher. He noted that she is still developing her own code for navigating the challenges of her new life. This evolution will give players more freedom to shape her story. Since I can remember, we've been talking about Ciri and how much she deserves her own journey. I love her grit. She's almost obsessed with the way she lives. There are moments where you have to go with your heart instead of always making calculated decisions. That's what I love about Ciri. She's less calculating. She follows her heart, her passion, her instincts. We want players to help define her. She's about to form her own codex, her own way of dealing with monsters, quests, and adventures. It's her unique journey. We're putting player agency at the center. We are giving players more tools to not only shape her narrative, but also to influence gameplay. We want players to feel like they truly define their experience. Kalemba also reflected on lessons learned from Cyberpunk 2077. He mentioned how those ideas will shape the upcoming title and emphasized gameplay variety. I believe Cyberpunk 2077 had more varied gameplay than The Witcher 3. It allowed more freedom in creating character builds and experiencing encounters in your own way. This is something we definitely want to bring to The Witcher 4. We aim to improve on The Witcher 3's gameplay and also enhance the way players explore the world.
Long have yearned for your tender caress to bind our fortunes. Damn what the stars are, rend my heart open, then your love profess, a winding weaving fate to which we both atone. You flee, my dream come the morning. Your scent, berries tart, lilac sweet, to dream of raven locks and twisted stormy, of violet eyes glistening as you weep. The wolf I will follow into the storm to find your heart, its passion displaced by our ever-growing, hardening into stone, amidst the cold to hold you in a heated embrace. You flee, my dream come the morning, your scent, berries tart, lilac sweet, to dream of raven locks and twisted stormy, of violet eyes glistening as you weep. I know not if fate would have us live as one, or if by love's blind chance we've been bound. The wish I whispered when it all began, did it forge a love you might never have found? You flee, my dream come the morning, your scent, berries tart, lilac sweet, to dream of raven locks and twisted stormy, of violet eyes glistening as you weep.
If you want to be ahead of all the gaming leaks and news, specifically PlayStation news, time for you to subscribe. And as always, a like on the video is very much appreciated.